The world's first crewed Starship is finally ready to go, and when this giant rocket lifts off from Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas, it will be carrying 3 astronauts with it. So what will life inside the largest rocket in the world actually be like? Well, here's everything we know so far. SpaceX has developed Starship as a fully reusable transportation system that can carry both crew and cargo to Earth orbit, the Moon, or anywhere else in the solar system. The company plans to use the vehicle to establish a self-sustaining city on Mars by 2050. With this goal in mind, it's clear that life aboard the Starship won't just be for a few days or even weeks at a time. It will likely become people's new way of living. So obviously, Starship will need to include all the essentials for long-duration space travel, including a bathroom. As crazy as it sounds, Elon Musk has discussed the possibility of sending a bathroom into space before. When asked about it during a Reddit Ask Me Anything in 2019, the billionaire said, "We should probably put a toilet on Starship. It seems like a reasonable thing." But Musk also mentioned that there would be more pressing priorities than a bathroom at first. He elaborated, "There are more important things like life support and radiation shielding to sort out first, but definitely a toilet would make sense." But for now, exactly how they plan to make this happen hasn't been revealed. We can only hope they'll have an update on bathroom facilities soon. After all, it will be one of the most important features of the Starship if it's going to be a spacecraft for interplanetary travel. As Musk himself stated, if you want to live on Mars, it had better have toilets. But that's not the only thing that it needs. Food will be another essential on board. And since no one will be delivering meals to the crew of the Starship, they'll have to prepare their own food. This means that the kitchen will be another indispensable part of the Starship's design. And if the ship does indeed have a bathroom, it wouldn't be surprising if it had a kitchen too. Currently, NASA's astronauts eat freeze-dried food while on the International Space Station. The agency's website states that they get around 9 new meals every month, which includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. However, in the future, they may have to do their own cooking. And given that SpaceX will be responsible for supplying them with food on Starship missions, it's likely that the company will develop some kind of special space food that can last longer than the typical freeze-dried meals. However, these are just 2 of the many necessities that the Starship will have to provide for its passengers. There will also be sleeping quarters, entertainment areas, medical facilities, and much more. Since it's unclear what the interior of the Starship Super Heavy booster will look like, we don't know how any of these essentials will be laid out yet. But there are plenty of clues from concept images and other rockets that can give us an idea of what we might expect. For example, the ISS has provided valuable insight into what works in space and what doesn't. The current station has several modules that were built by different space agencies, and each module serves a different purpose. Some modules serve multiple purposes. For example, the Destiny Laboratory is used for research and crew quarters. Meanwhile, the Harmony module serves as a connecting node between the various station segments and is also used for crew quarters. Meanwhile, the Kibo Laboratory is used for research. All of these modules contain basic amenities like sleeping bags, desks, and chairs, although the crew spends most of their time doing experiments or exercising. Another great source of inspiration for the Starship's interior is NASA's Orion spacecraft, which is designed to carry 4 crew members beyond Earth's orbit. Orion was built with the idea that it would eventually be sent to Mars, similar to Starship. While Orion has never been used for a long-duration mission, it does have some similarities to what we might see inside Starship. For example, the crew module is essentially a spherical room with 4 crew seats arranged around a central table. This is the main cabin where the crew will spend most of their time. There's also a separate compartment with 4 stowage lockers, which is used for storing equipment and supplies. This compartment also contains an airlock that can be used to enter and exit the spacecraft. Orion also has a service module that provides propulsion and life support for the crew. This module contains a number of systems that are necessary for the spacecraft to function, such as the power and thermal control systems. It also contains fuel for the propulsion system. In addition, the service module contains solar panels that provide electrical power to the spacecraft. So we could expect something similar from Starship, but likely much larger since it's carrying 3 times as many people. All in all, Orion appears to be a functional spacecraft that's designed for long-duration missions. While it hasn't been used for a crewed flight longer than a few days, it seems like it would be suitable for a mission to Mars. And considering that Starship's ultimate destination is also Mars, there are bound to be similarities between the two craft. For example, both vehicles have a central cabin where the crew will spend most of their time. They also both have separate compartments for storing equipment and supplies. Additionally, both vehicles have systems that provide propulsion and life support for the crew. Finally, both vehicles have solar panels that provide electrical power. And while we wait for the first glimpse of the interior of the Starship, we can only speculate what it might look like. But one thing is for sure, it will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. If you think about it, the Starship will be a self-contained world unto itself. It'll be a place where people can live, work, and play for extended periods of time. That means that the interior of the Starship will need to be carefully planned out in order to ensure that the crew is comfortable and able to function well. While we don't know much about the specifics of the Starship's interior, we do know that it'll be a tight fit. The crew will need to be able to move around easily in order to perform their tasks. That means that the interior of the Starship will need to be designed in a way that maximizes space. We can expect to see a lot of multi-purpose furniture and equipment. For example, the tables and chairs will likely need to be able to fold away when they're not in use, and the beds will likely need to be able to stow away as well. In addition to the furniture and equipment, the crew will also need to store their personal belongings somewhere. That means that there will likely be some kind of storage space built into the walls or ceiling of the Starship. In addition to the physical constraints, the Starship's interior will also need to take into account the psychological effects of long-duration spaceflight. The crew will need to have a sense of privacy and personal space in order to maintain their mental health. That means that the interior of the Starship will likely be divided into a number of separate compartments. Each compartment will have a specific purpose, such as sleeping, eating, or working, but they'll also be designed to give the crew a sense of privacy. Overall, the interior of the Starship will need to be a carefully planned and efficient space in order to support a crew of astronauts on a long-duration mission. While we don't know much about the specifics of the Starship's interior, we do know that it will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. It will be a place where people can live, work, and play for extended periods of time. It will also be a place where people will go to explore new worlds and make history. And when Starship does eventually fly, we'll be sure to catch it on camera. So don't forget to stay tuned for updates on this and more Starship news. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We couldn't have done it without you.